Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Infinite Abilities Podcast. I am your host, Nick Earhart, and we are here to encourage each other to find our own unique abilities. Let's go. All right, everyone. So today we have Sarah Chan, and Sarah is a copywriter, and she's going to tell you all about that. So, Sarah, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, so started my business about 14 months ago. I'm a copywriter. So I basically help all of my clients with their needs like product description, websites, landing pages, writing their funnels, and all of that stuff like on the actual like conversion side. And then on the social media side, I help also write their captions, the scripts for their reels. I help do a lot of social media marketing and management as well.
Which is so awesome because I do a lot of that myself. I have tools that simplify it, but it still takes a lot of time.
Of
So to
course it
have
does.
someone like you that's able to do it for us is huge.
Yeah.
And who would you say that your ideal client is?
I work with a lot of coaches.
Same.
I have someone in OT. I have somebody that's a lawyer right now, but predominantly coaches I like working with.
Yeah, same here. That's, I guess, I'm a coach myself, so that's who I attract. So it's really awesome. And when it comes to copywriting, what makes you stand out?
I think it's the way not only I understand my clients' needs as far as their copywriting is concerned, but when they can't put two and two together, I can. You have to understand their needs first before you can put two and two together.
Exactly.
And a lot of copywriters, they just hear an assignment, they just write something down for the client, but they don't really get behind the backstory of why they're doing something.
Yep.
So if you don't understand the foundation, how are you supposed to build a house? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
From
Yeah.
a marketing standpoint.
Yeah. So you get to know your clients, you get to
I
know their
really do.
business.
Yeah, I invest a
Yeah.
lot of time in getting to know my clients, like through
Yeah.
and through.
And I think that's what makes you stand out is because you're doing it so personal. You're not just taking on a client as just another client. You're really putting in the effort to make sure that your product that you give them is top notch.
Yeah, 100%. I wouldn't be in this if I didn't think that I was bringing something uniquely to the table and or providing, customer service. And I feel like a lot of people get that wrong now is that, they think that customer service, like the customer is right. Sometimes they are, sometimes they're not. Number one. Number two, um, when you find the right clientele and you'll know just based off of several conversations, um, you will find that the right clientele is very open to listening to you.
Uh-huh.
And they wouldn't be talking to you if they didn't, one, need the help, or two, were even interested at all. You know
I
what I
was just
mean?
gonna say that. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Like they need to want you and need you. And then they're gonna get supported on a way higher level than anybody else.
Yeah, 100%. And clients are my clients, at least in my opinion, I probably have the best clients. Uh, Not only because they are, you know, so amazing in their own ways in whatever industry and field that they're in, but they also understand, that it's not going to be perfect the first time around, especially when you're starting from scratch.
Yep. And what excites you the most about what you do with your clients?
I think if it's something that I've written or my team has written and you hear that they got a client off of it as far as the marketing standpoint, I think that's like the best gift you can get as a copywriter.
Yep.
The money's great, don't get me wrong, but it's not my, primary sole driver of motivation. It's when I hear my clients winning is like that's like the best like reward you can get as someone that generally is invested in your business and just generally wants to see you do well. Like a lot of marketing companies, they don't have it from that standpoint. They're in for the money. A lot of them are charging anywhere between $3,000 to $6,000 a month for services, and I'm like, It's not the way to do it.
Yeah. I love the you're like me. You're here to help first and then get paid,
When you genuinely come from
because of
a
that.
standpoint of genuinely trying to help people, the money will follow. That is not
Exactly.
the issue, okay? God rewards you in ways when you genuinely try to help out society and try to
Mhm.
make it more affordable for people and understand that I work with a lot of startups. That or I have a couple clients that have established businesses, right? From my viewpoint as, a startup not too long ago, now I have my own team and starting to launch ads now and stuff like that. I also understand that startups don't have a lot of money, but they want the help and they want to succeed. It's their baby. They crafted these businesses. They invest so much time, love, and effort into them, right? And as a business owner myself, I can understand that. At one point in all of our lives, we all needed help. So the money will follow when it's not your primary driver, your primary focus, I think.
But yeah, I agree with that 100%. And I'm a startup myself. I've only been doing this a couple of years now, and I feel like sometimes we tend to help a little more than we probably should, but that's who I am. I like to help people. I like to see people succeed. So I'm gonna do whatever it takes for my clients to help them reach their goals.
Absolutely. I feel like a lot of companies, they get bigger and bigger and bigger, and they kind of lose sight of why they started their businesses in the first place because, and they've made, money their god and they've let money become their, primary focus. And, money is great, it solves a lot of problems, but that fulfillment that you get from watching your clients succeed, that's
You
something money
can't
can't
top it.
buy.
Yep, you can't top that.
Yeah.
So what got you started on this journey?
I had recently left a job, and back in 2024 in January, I recently left a job and I was kind of looking for my next move. I was applying job to job to job. No one would take me. At one point, I saw a program called The Real World by Andrew Tate, and I saw like a lot of people making money just like based off in this group. And I said, I'm like, no one's taking me. It's $50. What do I have to lose? I'm like, if it doesn't work out in the first month, whatever. And the stuff that they do teach you inside said program, the one that young kids are making a couple $100 within like their first week of getting started. Yeah, that happened. The same thing to me. 2 weeks later, I launched my own business. I got my first client in 48 hours.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I wish I could say the same. It didn't happen like that.
And, I feel like even when I got my first, my first ever job for a client was when I wrote a newsletter. That first $60 was like, oh, I can get used to this.
Mhm.
And then it just kept piling on, right? It's like
Yeah.
a whole cycle. You gotta keep trying, you gotta keep trying, you gotta keep trying. And then little by little, last year I was learning like so much about myself and entrepreneurship, how to network properly, how to find out how to get your ideal client, how to manage sales calls better, how to understand people's needs, provide value, and navigating this basically all on my own. I didn't
Mhm.
have real training for this at all, but also at the same time, I had so much sales experience in the past because I've worked, you know, I've never had like a real normal job with stable income that's like fixed at a
Mhm.
salary. Other than, being a GM, I've always worked in the service industry. I always worked on tips. And when I was working at Saks Fifth Avenue, I worked on my hourly plus my commission. So for like 6 years, from 19 to like 24, I was so used to working with not a fixed income. So at this point, I was like, what do I have to lose? Because this is no different, except there is no base, except in serving, right? You're serving your bartending, you're, a busser, you get tipped out, have no security. I'm like, but this is no different, except if you nurture this could pay off.
Mhm.
Instead of giving somebody else all the money that you're selling for them, why don't you sell it for yourself?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's awesome. And as entrepreneurs, That's what we gotta look at and focus on because it gets harder at times where you just
100%.
you're like, "Okay, how am I gonna make it through
What's my
this?"
next move? Yeah.
Yeah, and you're like,
What's
"Okay,
the
I
next thing
gotta."
that I feel like a lot of common, a common trait in a lot of entrepreneurs, and I think that uh, just for a preface this a story, my dad is an entrepreneur too, a very successful one too. Um, Something that I've seen in him that I completely resonate with myself is his ability to make decisive decisions. But in my perspective, I'm also impulsive. Like I act on impulse. And I think that's a lot of people say like that's a bad thing. It's not a bad thing because that impulsivity allows you to take quick actions now. That way you don't regret them in the future.
Uh-huh.
That impulsivity also allows you not to miss an opportunity when you see one. Right. So all the
Yep.
blessings that do come your way, you act on it versus people would think that it's a scam versus it's not a scam. I'm going to take my opportunity now while I have it.
The entrepreneurs fastest that we can make a decision, the better.
Yes.
You just gotta be able to make the decision now and not think about it. I don't know if I can afford it or what have you. If it aligns with your goals and where you want to go, just do it.
Yeah. And I always, if someone comes to me and asks me like, I don't know what I can afford right now. I'm like, okay, well, when you budget back to me, you let me know. It's like, if this is something that you really want, it's like, I think this is going to help you. I was like, the money will come later. I was like, I'll teach you one thing that you can get your first client today, though.
Yeah, exactly. And like me and you both, we can go through the numbers with our, leads, let's say, our potential clients and show them exactly how this is going to work for them and show them exactly when it's going to pay for itself.
Yeah.
So,
And I have a client right now. She's an occupational therapist, and she was telling me, she's like, it is, beyond difficult to get a client. I was like, I'm going to teach you how to get a client without even leaving your desk, without even really trying.
that's
And I
awesome.
actually like my first consulting call with her after she signed up for a monthly retainer. She's like, I got a couple people to answer back to me through a cold DM. I was like, I told you. I was like, when you go directly to the source, I was like, and you word it the right way without coming off to salesy. So a lot of a lot of companies, they do this wrong. They send you a sponsored and or salesy message either on LinkedIn, or they sell you, an email marketing campaign. They come off too aggressive. As someone who writes that for a living, I already don't like that. I only do it for companies because I know it works. Except when you're talking directly to the consumer, don't make yourself sound salesy at all. Ask them their general issues. Ask them their problems. Get intimate with that person, because that person, you'll be able to understand their problems holistically versus from a sales side. Okay, because even at the best level, entrepreneurs forget that they're freaking human, and you have to come from a human standpoint of talking to people. Okay,
Yeah.
you can't come off as like, yeah, I got the perfect thing to solve your problem. No, how'd you get this problem? How did it come up? When did you find out? You want all the backstory. And the best salespeople in the world, they understand people's stories. And they understand how to length out, that journey of either freedom or whatever it is that they want on the other side. And they know how to make a blueprint for it
Yeah.
naturally.
Yeah.
That's all that sales is,
Yeah.
problem solving, problem
Mhm.
solution. But
Mhm.
how you get from the problem to the solution, that's what the important part is.
Yep. And it's important to talk to your clients or leads in their own words, in their
Yes.
language, not in the
As someone
language
who writes
of.
content for a living, even for social media and in like websites, I was like, please don't use words that, people are not gonna understand. The average IQ in the United States is 96, and the average reading level is at like a 5th grade level in the United States. So with that being said, you can't use words that they're not gonna understand. Like I have a lawyer, okay? I My lawyer and I've actually used him for like situations that have either happened with me or my friend. Because not only does he do property law, he also does traffic here in South Florida. He wanted to use a couple big words in his social media content. I was like, I'm not changing that. I was like, "I'm not changing that. I'm not changing your script." I was like, "Here's why though." So when I normally say no to something that a client asks for, if it's a topic they want discussed, no problem. I'll ChatGPT that and I'll make content for you. However, if you want something changed within the script, I normally say no because I already know that the audience doesn't think like you. Right? You're selling to your prospective audience. You're not selling to another lawyer that understands the legal jargon that's already coming out of your mouth. You know what I mean? So with that
Exactly.
being said, you cannot sound like a professional when you're selling to someone that's not as educated in said subject as you. You have to go down to their level. And that's not demeaning, but that's realistic.
Mhm. Yep, it is. It is. Like, whenever I use Chat GPT to write something for me, I always tell it to put it at a 5th grade level, because if you don't,
Because
like,
people are not gonna understand it.
yeah, yeah. And I always like to make it fun too, so I always tell it to, make it fun, just exciting.
ChatGPT doesn't get it right when being able to understand audiences or
Mhm.
understand how to write something in the tone of voice that you need it. So, like, let's say my one client, I've written 4 email marketing campaigns for uh, SBA 7A loans and 504 loans. I have a client of mine who does commercial lending. His verbiage in his emails are going to be different than an accountability coach, who another client of mine is a accountability coach, and she specializes with helping her clients, take accountability and take action. Those two sets of email marketing campaigns are very different versus like, I'm talking with a lawyer. Like every single like when you're writing content with for different people in different industries and different niches, it is very different in how to write content.
Yeah. It really is. It
And
really
even just
is.
like the reading it, the tone of voice too. Some people need to either be more professional, some people need to dumb it down, and some people need to really be aggressive.
Yeah.
ChatGPT may not be able to get that right.
No. No, that's why
And
you
that's
need
why still
someone like
professional
you.
writers are needed.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and I would always recommend hiring someone like you. And, you know, this is the first time that me and you have talked, and I can tell you, like, you're awesome, and if
Thank
I
you.
need copywriting, I definitely know who I'm going to, because,
Hell yeah, man. Of course.
like, you've got it figured out. Like, you know how to provide the best product for your client. You put in the work, you put in the effort, and you make sure that you're proud of
Even like
everything.
I did this past week. So like Monday I'm like still recovering from a cold.
Mhm.
Um Even like Monday I was feeling like really, really sick. I was like, I did not feel well. And I was like, I don't care. I haven't heard from my clients. Like, what's going on with their projects? Right. I'm a little bit behind on work just because of how busy I am. But I'm like, I literally called all of them. I was like, where are you on this? Where's my photos for this? What's the status of this? Because they won't call me. I'll call them though. And I'll
Yep,
bother them for what I need to get the job done. And that's normally marketing companies, when they put you on retainer, they just let the money roll over. They
exactly.
won't bother you.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, they don't care. Because they already know that they got either your card on file or your bank information on file. That way they can keep withdrawing the money out of your account. They won't call
Mhm.
you. But I don't think that's morally speaking, I don't think that's the right way. If you contract me for a job, I'm going to make sure it gets done. And when I ask you for something, give it to me because I need it. I wouldn't be calling if I didn't think that I needed something from you. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yeah, yeah, and I do see that a lot of businesses don't do that. And I know for me, I I contact every one of my clients at least once a week, just to make sure that they have everything they need, they don't have questions, and if they have a problem, let's solve it together.
I think from like not even just like a customer standpoint point of view, I feel like from a humanitarian viewpoint, like I feel like that's the right way to handle situations versus
Yeah.
like just letting it come out of your bank account. Like I like the money is great, but like that's not my overall driving factor here, right? It's like
Yeah.
yeah, like nice cars and like a nice house and like having a penthouse is like all that's great. What's that all worth if you're scamming people?
Exactly. Like, everything I do is month to a month.
Absolutely. I'm the same way.
Yep. And why not nurture your clients to keep them?
And you know what? That's so funny that you bring that up because I feel like when you lock somebody into a contract that's you there's a non-compete for 6 months or 12 months, whatever the terms
Yep.
of the agreement is, people tend to leave you after that. So what do I want? Do I want a client for 5 years that stays with me at $500 a month or 1,000 or $2,000 a month? Or do I want a client that only stays with me a year and only pays me what, 4 grand?
Hmm.
What do you want?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I don't have a contract for anything. It's all month
I
to
have a
month.
laid out agreement of terms of service. I have
Yeah.
a standard agreement. It's within my CRM, but other than that, I do not do NDAs. I also don't do contracts that are of non-compete have non-compete clauses in it. I just don't believe in holding people hostage.
Yep.
I really
Yep.
I don't like that because I'm such a free bird myself. Why would I ever try to project that onto somebody else?
Yeah. And like with me and what I do, we use a lot of different softwares to help our clients.
Absolutely.
And we always tell them, like, everything that you put into our softwares is yours. If you want to leave at any time, we will export it out for you. Like, that's how it should be. Like, don't lock people in.
People feel like like I've been working out for so long. What I don't like gyms that lock you into a contract. So there was a gym that I used to work out with when I was first starting to like get into bodybuilding and weightlifting. I used to actually work out at Gold Gym and they have contracts and I didn't like that. So when I moved to Florida, I was like, I'm gonna go find a gym that doesn't have a contract. So if I want to switch a gym at any given point, yeah, like the next month I'll probably have to pay, but other than that, that's fine. I want out of my contract. As if it becomes too dirty, if it becomes too crowded, if it becomes this, it becomes that, like, I should be able like I am an American consumer. I should be allowed to go wherever I want to or wherever I want to go for the best service, for the best quality, of products that that's being given. I should be able to move wherever I choose to move, right? And that's why for me, like coming from an American consumer standpoint too, like I if my clients say like I'm done with you, totally fine. You get everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No hard
Yeah.
feelings,
Yeah. It's totally fun, but I
because
would
I
like
already
to
know the
know.
competition's gonna screw her, and then most likely she's gonna come
eh,
back to me anyway.
Exactly. And, when clients leave, I think it's good if you can to figure out what they didn't like,
Yeah,
you know?
do an
Because,
exit
like,
interview. That's
I
okay.
want yeah, I wanna improve myself. So, whenever I do something wrong, I tell my clients, "Let me know," you know?
I always say that to my clients. I was like, "If I'm doing something wrong, just let me know." And I have not heard one bad thing said about me
So
so
awesome.
far.
So awesome. That's so awesome. Well, and even when you do get that one bad thing, yeah, exactly. It's just like, oh, it comes with the territory.
Even like with like when I was serving tables one time, it was like on a Sunday. I was really tired. I've been working all day long. I spilled an entire tray of cups of Mountain Dew on a table of a family of
Oh.
4, and I ran back to the kitchen to go get towels, and I slid, and mind you, I have non-slip shoes on, so that's just industry standards, like, non-slip, like, they're a different type of sole, for kitchen shoes. I slipped, banged myself into a wall, still got up, ran to get towels, and I was like, "You need to comp their entire meal."
Mhm.
I was like, "They're eating for free today because of my mess up." That
Yep.
or if I used to, let's say, uh put in an order wrong and I go back in the computer and I realize I do it wrong, I go straight to the kitchen and I tell them like, "Hey, I made a mistake." I go own it and then I also tell the customer too.
Mhm.
That type
That's
of
awesome.
honesty, people are still going to tip you 20%
Yep,
because you were
exactly.
honest.
Yeah, yeah. You
You
should always
acknowledge that you made a mistake.
yeah, yeah, like, that goes so far in life with everything you do. Just be authentic.
Man, I'm glad that you said that because like people don't grasp that anymore. I'm like, how have we strayed so far from this? Like, this concept is so simple to understand, so simple. And you see, especially because I've lived in the city of Miami too. I used to live in Miami. And I will be going back there because now I have a lot of new big time business opportunities in Miami. So I'll be going back to Miami in about a week and a half from now. Um, Living around a bunch of posers and people that are fake and always trying to either one up people or scam people, you get very disappointed in society.
Yep.
And that's not how my parents raised me. Do not scam people. Do not cheat. Do not lie. Be honest, be authentic, be genuine. And I think that's why right now I'm experiencing the success right now because I've always been that way. Nothing ever changed. I've gotten smarter, wiser, and brighter, sure. But my general authentic personality, that has not changed.
Yep.
And
I love
unfortunately,
that.
living in a city like Miami, you see so many corrupt people that are just only out for themselves. You could be driving that amazing brand new Lamborghini Huracan Evo of $300,000, but if you suck as a person, I could care less how much money you got. I don't want you as a client. Because then if I have to hear that, oh, she does business with said person, he's a scammer, that reflects badly on me. I don't need that. I don't care how much money you're worth. I'm willing to forego that paycheck just because you as a person, you suck.
Yep. Yeah.
And a lot of people, they don't have the courage to walk away from that.
Mhm.
They're so solely motivated by that amount of cash. And I was like, I don't care how much money you got in your bank account. I have friends that they drive McLarens. They drive
Mhm.
my friends live in, high rises. I have friends that have sold bags to celebrities. I have friends that used to be general managers making 7, almost 8 figures. Like that, none of that matters to me. What matters to me is are you a genuine person? That's what matters to me because I will only surround myself with genuine people. And I've made mistakes along the way, surrounding myself with people I thought were and caught with naivety, but I own it. Sometimes I try to see the best in people as much as I possibly can. That has gotten me screwed over more times than I can count.
Same.
However, with age comes maturity, and I realize now that while getting to know somebody, you really got to vet them out properly.
Mhm. Yep. I do that with all my clients. We get on a call beforehand, before I even make a decision. So I want to work with you. Like, I don't really like. Yeah, it's awesome that you want to work with me, but I also want to work with you. And I've had clients in the past where it was not enjoyable at all. And
I've had
thankful.
clients like that.
Yeah, it's just
I've
no.
dropped clients before.
Yep, yep. I dropped that one. I was like, I can't do it. I can't.
The end of the day, I think that's what's so awesome about our job is that as CEO, if we don't like you, and at any given point, I can terminate that service agreement at any given point. Whether you do it or I do it, I can do it myself.
Hmm.
And you legally cannot come after me because I have discretion. It says in my agreement.
Yep.
At any given point, if I feel as if this relationship is not amicable anymore, I have the right to terminate our service agreement. So at the same time, I think that's really important trying to like really vet your clients too and like understand their needs and see how
Hmm.
serious they are. And it's something that I've learned in sales is like uh, I've heard somebody say this on the phone, like not even like on a call the way you and I are right now, but like he asked his questions like on a scale of 1 to 10, how badly do you want something like this? Just to give a like a like a actual real number of like how people serious people are.
Hmm.
Because the people that are serious, they'll say a 20, a 10, a 15, 10, oh, from a scale of 1 to 10. And people that are not so serious, it's actually a great psychology trick in sales. I was like, oh my,
Yep.
I was like, oh, now you're putting people on the spot. I was like, now you're pressuring people. That's where the real sales comes in. And I was like,
Exactly.
okay, well, this is actually very effective, but it also makes you like hard look at yourself on like what you want.
Yep. It really does. All right. Well, before we wrap this up, I gotta ask you. My slogan is "Your abilities are infinite." What does that mean to you? This episode of the Infinite Abilities podcast is brought to you by the one and only Infinite Toolbox, where just like all other toolboxes, we will get the job done, guaranteed. Whether you're an entrepreneur looking to save time, boost revenue, or automate your processes, Infinite Toolbox has got you covered. With powerful tools designed to drive leads, expand your reach, and gain your industry secrets, we help you work smarter, not harder. Are you ready to take your business to the next level? Visit us at infinitetoolbox.com. That's infinitetoolbox.com and discover how infinite your potential really is.
There's no cap on what you're capable of. A lot of people get this wrong too. They limit themselves to their capabilities just because of the fact that that's what they've been told their entire lives. It's like they might
Amen.
think that the sky's the limit, but unfortunately, the higher education system is going to tell you this is how much you're going to be able to make. There's no cap after that. Your capabilities are infinite because of the fact that it's because of you that you make them infinite. Your capabilities, your ambitions, your drive, whatever it is that you want to achieve in life, your ambition should not have a cap on it. And, I think the more bigger and wilder you can dream and keep such an emphasis and priority on your dreams and what you want in life, the more and more you figure out a way to get it. Because then that vibration and energy that you project, like the more you like think about it, God will keep sending you people your way to get you closer to that goal, right? Had I not fixed my energy level and vibrational level, um, just from like a spirituality standpoint, like I would never be in a position right now to be going back to Miami to potentially talk with ex NBA and NFL players to get to get them as a client to do their content. Would never even think of that. And that's in 14 months of starting a
Yeah.
business.
Incredible. Incredible. I agree with you so much. And, I have cerebral palsy. So my whole life, I've been getting told what I can't to do.
Somebody told me, a friend of mine asked me, is like, when I was a GM, she's like, would you hire somebody with like cerebral palsy? Would you hire somebody with autism? I was like, if they can get the job done, what's the problem?
Exactly. Yep.
I was like, I don't I'm like, first of all, Title IX does not allow me to discriminate against a mental disability, number one. And number two, if you put limits on people when you're putting limits on yourself, who's the biggest hypocrite here? Because the fact that you're doing it in the first place. Now you're trying to project your insecurities onto somebody else. So, with that being said, if you're that kind of human being, maybe you have to go fix yourself. It's not the other person. You can't put caps on people then when you don't even understand something. Everybody's so small minded, man. It's like, it's insane to
Yeah.
me. Yeah, I'm like, if you think that way, like, no wonder why you are where you are right now. I would totally hire somebody with cerebral palsy. It doesn't matter. If you can get the job done better than someone that doesn't have it, they're fired, you're hired. Like,
Yeah. Exactly. Yep. I
it
agree with
doesn't
that.
matter. It doesn't matter to me at all.
Awesome. Thank you. And I know we've got listeners that want to work with you. So how can they do that?
So you can either call me at 941-405-9746. That's my cell phone / business number. Or you can email me at srqcopywriting@gmail.com. And
Awesome.
or go on to my website and book a call with me at www.srq-copywriting.com as well.
Awesome. Awesome. And I'll put your links in the show notes.
Cool. Appreciate that.
What is one last message that you would like to leave the audience?
If you can dream it, you can do it.
I love
If you
that.
can dream it, you can do it. I was absolutely miserable being a GM. I didn't understand the signs of depression at the time, but once I entered therapy and actually understood physical signs of it, because I had physical signs, I could realize I was like, "You are unhappy for a majority of your very early 20s because instinctually you were always supposed to be working for yourself." So like now this past year was like super transformative. Like I learned about like spirituality, religion, you know, philosophical, ideologies, and like learning about like how the world works and like how business works. When you understand so many different paradigms, you get a general consensus of what you like and what resonates with you versus all the other stuff, right? Something that stood out for me last year is like you find comfort in strangers. Like some people are not going to support your vision, even if no matter how close they are to you. Friends did not support me. Parents did not think that this was a good idea. And now that my parents definitely know I'm in that league of tax bracket, they're like, how did she do it? She's only 25. I was like, I nurtured my relationships. I've always done that. I've always been really, really good at nurturing my relationships. And I put such an emphasis on not changing my personality. And when someone needs me, I pick up my phone.
Yeah. Awesome. All right, Sarah, this was really great. Thank you so much.
Thanks, man. I appreciate you having me.
Of course. If you enjoyed this show, please go ahead and share it on your Instagram story and tag me in the Nick to your heart. Also, go ahead and share it anywhere else that you see fit, because the only way that I can grow this is by you guys sharing it. I don't sell anything on here. I don't have any sponsors, so let's just get it out there by word of mouth and help more people. Alright, everyone, remember your abilities are infinite.